Hi, welcome back to First Church of God. Hey, maybe you've heard of this man. He's a rather famous comedian, Bill Engvall. And Bill Engvall is a observational comedian, and he's probably most known for a series of jokes he did called "Here's Your Sign." "Here's Your Sign" is basically a response to people who ask questions or make statements that just seem they didn't think the question through. For example, you're in the checkout line at the store and you've got this 25-pound bag of dog food, and somebody says, "You've got a dog?" And your answer is, "No, I've just checked the nutritional facts of this dog food, and it's better for me than any other food that's around. And besides that, it's made with real lamb, not artificial lamb." Has there ever been anything like artificial lamb? That's a label that I read recently. Or somebody calls after 9, 10 o'clock and says, "Are you awake?" By the matter of fact, yes, I am awake, and I'm plotting what I'm going to do to the person that woke me up today. Or this one, which is actually one of Bill's originals. You're putting air in your tire and somebody says, "Oh, you got a flat tire?" Nope. The other three got jealous and puffed themselves up. Here's your sign. But there is something else people do that isn't much different with their questions, but that is they make excuses, and some of those excuses can be pretty lame. A lot of people have their go-to excuse of why they don't believe they can do something. So what's your go-to excuse for why you can't do something? When we say that we don't have the time, are we really saying I lack compassion? When we say we don't have the resources, maybe we're feeling insecure for our finances, or we're forgetting whom we belong to. Proverbs 23, verse 7 from the Amplified Bible. "For as he," that's you and I, "think in his heart, so is he. In behavior, one who manipulates." Sometimes we act disinterested in something new, and we're actually saying, "I'm afraid of failing." I think excuses are the truth wrapped up in a lie that we have been repeating to ourselves so many times that we begin to believe it as the truth. And if you lie to yourself, you'll lie to anyone. Our battle is shame from our past and fear from our future. And God operates in the presence because past, present, future, it's all the same to him. Satan calls you by your sin. God calls you by your name. Look with me at John chapter 5, verse 1 through 14. Sometimes later, Jesus went up to Jerusalem for one of the Jewish festivals. Now, there in Jerusalem, near the sheep gate, a pool, which in Aramaic is called Bethesda, and which is surrounded by 5 covered colonnades. Here, a great number of disabled people used to lie: the blind, the lame, the paralyzed. One who was there had been an invalid for 38 years. When Jesus saw him lying there, he learned that he had been in this condition for a long time. He asked him, "Do you want to get well?" "Sir," the invalid replied, "I have no one to help me get into the pool when the water is stirred. When I am trying to get in, someone else goes down ahead of me." Then Jesus said to him, "Get up, pick up your mat, and walk." At once the man was cured, and he picked up his mat and he walked. Verse 14. Later, Jesus found him at the temple, and he said to him, "See, you are well again. Stop sinning, or something worse may happen to you." A few weeks ago, I shared a message using part of this passage. And when Jesus said, "Take up your mat and walk," the title of the message was "Make Your Bed." Jesus was saying, your mat is your excuses. To pick them up and quit making excuses. Your mat is your shame. He had been at this pool for 38 years, and I've often thought he was born that way, or some reason he was there, but this seems like a long time that he was that way. But when you look at this, it's not that way. It says, "You are well again," meaning you were once well, then you were sick. Do you want to go back to being sick, or do you want to stay well? So I think that maybe he was able to walk, then all of a sudden something happened, an accident or something, but now he has been lame for 38 years, and now he can walk. And Jesus says, "Do you want something worse to happen?" If being paralyzed wasn't bad enough. I mean, blind paralytic, deaf, dumb, and blind paralytic, a dead paralytic, what is worse? So he had been in this open wall prison. He couldn't go anywhere. He was limited to what he could do. He was dependent on everybody else to take care of him, to feed him, whatever his need was. And his only hope was that he could be the first one in the water when the water got stirred. And that was just a belief. It wasn't factual. Why and what type of sin had he been involved with it? Jesus comes up to him and says, stop sinning or something worse will happen. We won't know until we get to heaven. Whatever it was, I think he couldn't handle the new freedom that he had found. I also think he took the miracle of healing for granted, and maybe he assumed, I deserve this. The only buy-in for him was to take up his mat. Now he needed to relocate. He was going to have to find a job, no pool to sit by, and his hope had been relocated. He'd need to take responsibility for the blessing he received. He needed to look beyond the pool. If you've been blessed by God, God did that so you would be a blessing to somebody else. And when you bless others, you get blessed in return. Jesus said, do you want to get well? Are you ready to give a definite yes? You see, each and every one of us, we're as sick as our secrets and or our excuses. If you want to get well, you must be willing to identify the situation that is in the way. Our yes to Jesus can't be riddled with excuses. Jesus doesn't embrace excuses, and neither should we if we claim to be his followers. Excuses we make for ourselves or excuses that we make for others. Just say that you want to get well and stop putting conditions and excuses on your desire. Jesus didn't listen to the excuse. He said, get up. Jesus doesn't embrace excuses. He sees right through them. And I think Jesus has healed several people, but they never got up. They've gotten so used to being put down, beaten down, and ignored, and it's happened so long that it has become their resting place. It's become their normal. Excuses have been where we have lived for too long, and we haven't lived out the life that God has for us. And Jesus comes to set the captives free, but the prison walls of our mind have become so familiar we can't handle living in his freedom. Do what Jesus told you to do. Pick up your mat and walk. What do you feel that mat symbolizes for you today? Something of value, something of treasure, something we need, or is it shame from your past, guilt that you carry, fear or worry? It didn't take long before the religious leaders picked on what had happened, and they started making a stink about it because it was the Sabbath and you weren't supposed to work on the Sabbath, so they were saying foul. For us, I think we got to tune out the doubters, the naysayers, the jealous of our faith people, the ones who are constantly giving you direction, and they need to work more on their own life than they do on other people's lives. Too many others don't want you off of your mat, maybe because they want you to want them or need them. They may appear more secure than they really are. They don't realize that they are keeping you from stepping out in faith, the faith that Jesus wants you to walk in. There are going to be people who want to give you words of correction constantly, but that's not what we're to do. We are to be building each other up in faith. We are to be encouraging each other to step out in faith. We are to. There are some people who shouldn't be giving spiritual, marital, financial, or health advice until they get their own house in order. Their words are logs in their eyes and they can't see the forest because there's a tree in their own. And Jesus is saying, do you want to get well? And if your answer is yes, then you got to lose the excuses and you got to stop blaming everybody else. And when you answer Jesus's question, remember his warning as well. Stop sinning or something else worse will happen. I feel he's saying your bondage will be deeper than it was before, and it's going to be harder to get free from it. The healing Jesus wants to do in you is beyond just a physical healing. There is mental, emotional, spiritual healing that he desires you to have. And to walk out of the bondage, you have to place yourself in by the words and the actions. To walk out of the bondage, you have placed yourself in by the words and the actions of others. means that we've got to step into freedom. The addiction that you battle is a result of the hurt that has happened. And the man in the miracle was a work in progress, just like each and every one of us. He was filled with reasons why he wasn't healed and his excuses of why he couldn't change. And sometimes these stories of the Bible are a mirror for us to look in about our own reflection. What has God told you to get up and walk away from? What has God already healed in your life or set you free from, and yet you keep sitting on your mat pouting? Our mind can cause us to be paralyzed like the man at the well, at the pool, and consider the blessings that God has placed in your life. Do you complain and grumble about them? The blessings of God come with a responsibility for us to take care of them. How you treat a gift from someone that someone has given you is a reflection of the relationship that you have with them. If you are ungrateful for your blessings, your responsibility for the blessing will become a distraction to your relationship with God. I was reading in James just this week, and it says, don't grumble. James 5:9, it says, don't grumble against each other, brothers and sisters, or you will be judged. The judge is standing at the door. Brothers and sisters, as an example of patience in the face of suffering, take the prophets who spoke in the name of the Lord. As you know, we count as blessed those who have persevered. You have heard of Job's perseverance and have seen what the Lord finally brought about. The Lord is full of compassion and mercy. Don't grumble against each other. Don't grumble about other things. Don't grumble about the responsibility God has placed, because the enemy entices you to sin and then he shames you for it so that you will not engage in spiritual activity or spiritual warfare. His goal is to take you out of the battlefield. When David had his affair with Bathsheba, he was in the wrong place at the wrong time, because where he was supposed to be was like other kings out in battle. So what do we need to do? Stop sinning. Start walking in obedience to God's written and spoken word, not just the 10 Commandments, but throughout the New Testament, Jesus gives a bunch of commandments. But the greatest commandment is the one we need to live by, and that is to love the Lord your God with all your soul, with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your strength. Love your neighbor as yourself. This is an invitation to stop in the name of love. And what's the name of love? God, Jesus. Stop in that before you break his heart. Your sin reflects your relationship with Jesus. You may think that it's concealed, but God and others see through it in how that you talk to others, how you talk to those that are closest to you. Letter T, take up. Take up your cross and follow him. Your cross is so that you can put to death those things that keep you from God. It is crucifying self. What is in me that you desire, God, that I get rid of? Lord, what is in me that is keeping me from you? What do you want me to know, God? What do you want me to do? Jesus doesn't want our excuses. He wants our faithfulness. He died so that we can have a relationship with him. Letter O, operate in connection. Matthew 11, 28 through 30. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your soul. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. I'm going to share that again, but this is the way that the Eugene Peterson's The Message Bible reads. Are you tired, wore out, burned out on religion? Come to me, get away with me, and you'll recover your life. I'll show you how to take a real rest. Walk with me and work with me. Watch how I do it. Learn the unforced rhythms of grace. I won't lay anything heavy or ill-fitting on you. Keep company with me, and you'll learn to live freely and lightly. Jesus didn't come for a religion. He came that we may have a relationship with him. I've often said, show me who you run with and I'll show you what you'll become. Jesus invites us to be in connection with him so that we can learn from him and walk in his ways. Being yoked to him means that we are stronger than we are individually. Belgian draft horses are very large and very strong animals. Full grown, one can pull around 8,000 pounds. 4 tons, okay? If you put two of them together, it is not 8,000 pound pulling plus 8,000 pound pulling. That doesn't make the right equation. It's actually, they can pull up to 22,000 pounds, two of them together. And if they've really been working together and well trained together, they can pull up to 32,000 pounds together. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Mother Teresa said, you can do what I cannot do, and I can do what you cannot do, but together we can do great things. This is the reason for Jesus' invitation. The more time we spend with him, the more we will become like him. Letter P, proclaim the blessings of God. Thank him daily for how he has blessed and provided for you. Recognize that he has blessed you so that you can be a blessing to others. You have been blessed by God to be a blessing to others, and when you bless others, you get blessed in return. When we grumble about the blessings of life, we dim our light for Christ. We dim our witness, and we put on a false witness before others and God. Could you use a miracle in your life? Remember, shame is not from God. It's from the enemy. And it's time for you not to just take up your mat of shame, but to get something new to carry. To walk away from what is destroying you and start remembering you are blessed to be a blessing. So ask the Father, what sin is in your life that causes the distractions to you and others? And where does he desire that you become a blessing?